Hey bestie, can we talk for a sec? How many times have you caught yourself scrolling through Instagram, looking at that influencer, that friend, or even a total stranger and thought, dang, why is her life so perfect and mine's just this or worse? That sneaky little feeling we don't even like to admit, jealousy. Yeah, that little pinch in your chest, that discomfort, that urge to have what she has, to be like her, to be where she is. And girl, it's okay to feel that way, all right? We're human. Emotions don't define us, but how we deal with them. That says everything. In this video, we're going to break down where that feeling comes from and how to stop being jealous of other people and start making other people jealous of you. Because yes, girl, you can stop comparing yourself to others and start living a life so amazing, so real, and so yours that people will look at you for inspiration. And not because you're trying to prove anything to anyone, but because you're finally focused on the only thing that really matters, you. So if you're ready for a mental, physical, and spiritual glow up, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing. The problem isn't feeling jealous. The problem is when we let it take over. When it freezes us, makes us shrink ourselves down, compare constantly, feel like we're always behind or that we'll never be good enough. And that becomes the snowball that slowly suffocates our self-esteem, our creativity, our joy. But what no one really talks about is that jealousy can actually be a doorway. A sign, a mirror showing you something inside that needs attention, care, and love. And if you let it, you can turn that feeling into serious fuel for your life. Girl, the first thing we've got to understand is let's not pretend everyone's felt this at some point. And that doesn't make you a bad or selfish person, okay? Jealousy is just an emotion that pops up because deep down, it's trying to tell you something really important about yourself, something you want or desire. But the big secret? Most of the time, it's not even about what the other person has. It's about what you feel is missing inside. The truth is, jealousy is a direct reflection of what we feel isn't happening in our own life or own heart. And let me tell you, sis, what's wild is that sometimes it's all in our head. We compare ourselves to this totally edited version of reality. Like, you know that person with the perfect life on Instagram? The one with the dream house, the body you've always wanted, the followers, the dream job. But what if I told you all of that could just be a front? Jealousy shows up when we put those images on a pedestal and idealize them. We see only the sparkle and forget that behind every photo is a story we don't know, a struggle no one's talking about. And here's the real thing, jealousy isn't about what she's missing. It's about what you feel is missing in you. When you feel jealous of someone, instead of feeling guilty or ashamed, try looking inward and asking, what is it that she has that I feel I'm lacking in my own life? Maybe it's more freedom, more recognition, more self-worth, or even a totally different lifestyle. The real question isn't what others have, it's what you're willing to do for yourself to create the life you actually want. Let's be real, social media doesn't even come close to showing reality. Seriously, we get so caught up in it that we don't even notice we're comparing ourselves to these super filtered, edited versions of people's lives. We see those dreamy travel pics, flawless outfits, perfect bodies and all that, but what we don't see is the hard work behind it. The struggles, the bad days, the ups and downs we all go through. No one posts themselves in pajamas all day, eating takeout, or stressing over paying a bill at the end of the month. And that's exactly how we fall into the trap of thinking everyone's life is better than ours. Have you ever noticed how we start idealizing someone's life just based on what they post? Social media feeds have turned into a big stage for happiness, where only the best moments are shared. But if you really stop to think about it, no one posts the hard days. If someone's going through heartbreak, disappointment, or some internal battle, that stays hidden. Because all that matters is the image, right? And then we start to feel like our life is boring, unglamorous, totally uneventful. The real problem is, instead of enjoying the small wins and real-life moments, we get lost in this brutal comparison, thinking everyone's happier and more fulfilled than we are. Can you see how unfair that is? You're comparing a blogger's highlight reel to your behind-the-scenes moment? The truth is, all of that is just a front. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad, but to help you wake up. Jealousy creeps in the moment you buy into this idea that someone else's life is perfect and yours. For some reason, isn't, but girl, everyone has their own struggles. It's just that no one's posting pics of themselves crying. No one's uploading a story like, hey, I'm really not okay today. And that's totally normal. The trick is not letting social media decide your worth or your happiness. Start focusing on your journey, your wins, your victories, even the tiny ones. Now that we understand where this feeling of jealousy comes from, it's time to look inward and notice when it starts knocking at our door. Because jealousy doesn't always show up in obvious ways. Sometimes it hides in those little thoughts you don't even notice. Like, you see someone achieve something amazing, and instead of feeling happy for them, you start questioning your own life. And then that whole "I wish I were in her shoes" or "why can't I have that too" starts creeping in before you even realize it. Jealousy often begins with a slight discomfort that, if ignored, can grow into something bigger. The first step to noticing when jealousy is creeping in is to pay attention to how you feel when you see someone else's success. When you look at someone and the first thing that pops into your head is something like, "She has everything and I have none of that," it might be a sign that jealousy is starting to take over. That doesn't mean you're a bad or a selfish person, okay? It just means you're going through a moment where you're comparing yourself too much and forgetting to look at your own life and your own wins. But the most important thing is that jealousy isn't something to be denied. It's something you have to face head on if you want to grow from it. Another thing that's important to know is that jealousy doesn't just show up in thoughts. It can show up in your actions too. Have you ever noticed how, when you're feeling jealous, you might start finding flaws in the person you're comparing yourself to? You start criticizing the way she acts, her lifestyle, her choices, like somehow that makes what she's accomplished less valid? That's a way of justifying how you feel, but deep down it's just jealousy disguised as judgment. And when that happens, girl, take a deep breath and remind yourself, this isn't about her, it's about you. That's the key to understanding what's missing inside of you and how to turn that negative feeling into something that pushes you to grow. Now let's talk about how to turn this jealousy we feel into something positive, something that actually pushes us forward. Because yes, bestie, you can use this feeling as a springboard for growth. I know, it might sound weird to look at jealousy and see something good. But the truth is, once you start to realize that jealousy is trying to tell you something about what you want or need, you've already taken the first step towards shifting your path. Instead of feeling stuck or frozen, you'll start to take action based on what you're really feeling. The first step is figuring out what jealousy is trying to tell you. Every time you catch yourself comparing or feeling that tightness in your chest, ask yourself, what is it that I really want? Maybe it's more freedom, more recognition, more confidence, or even a whole new career path. That's the moment jealousy can become your ally because it's pointing to something inside of you that needs more love and attention. Instead of spiraling into judgment or bitterness, you can take that desire and use it as fuel to move forward. Once you start realizing what's missing in your life and start thinking about what you actually want, it's time to act. And taking action doesn't mean doing anything huge or crazy, okay? Start with small steps. If you feel jealous of someone who's super confident, how about working on your own self-esteem? You can check out my video on how to be truly confident. If it's someone who landed their dream job, maybe it's time to invest more in yourself, learn new skills, or find a mentor. Jealousy won't just disappear overnight, but it can give you direction, something to focus on. And the more you invest in yourself, the more that feeling of jealousy starts to turn into gratitude for the motivation it gave you. Also, one of the most powerful things you can do is surround yourself with people who inspire you and can help you grow. Instead of looking at those people through the lens of comparison, look at them with admiration and curiosity. When you see someone achieving something you want, instead of feeling bad for not having it too, ask yourself, what did she do to get there? What can I learn from her? And seriously, that changes everything. When you start surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, you create this positive vibe, a space where your own growth becomes the focus, not comparison. And when you do that, envy starts to lose its grip, and you begin to see others as sources of inspiration, not competition. Drop it in the comments who are the people or celebs that inspire you. It might help someone else out there too. And last thing, girl, don't forget that no one's behind or ahead of anyone. Everyone's on their own timeline, and you only start to realize that when you stop and look at yourself with more kindness. If you've been feeling like you're falling behind in life, remember, you're never late for your own journey. Every step, every mistake, every lesson is part of your path. Instead of looking at someone else's life and thinking you're wasting time, use that envy to light a fire for your own growth. Because believe me, what you're searching for is already inside you. You just need to turn that into action and focus. Girl, I know sometimes we feel a little lost, like we don't really know what makes us special, what makes us unique. But let me tell you something, you've got so much value, and the only thing missing is you realizing that. Sometimes we get so caught up in other people's wins, other people's lives, that we forget to look at what really makes us who we are. We start comparing ourselves and thinking we need to be like someone else to be worthy or successful, but the truth is, your worth is already inside you, girl. All you need to do is pause for a second and look a little more lovingly at the amazing things you already have. One of the biggest traps is that constant feeling that we're not enough, you know? like what we have isn't good enough or like we don't deserve the good things around us. But believe me, you are enough. What you've already achieved is so valuable. Every challenge, every obstacle you've overcome, every moment of victory you've had, all of that has shaped you into someone unique. So instead of looking sideways to see what others have, how about you start celebrating what you've already got? Even if they feel like small wins, they're what build your journey. Notice how far you've already come and let that be your reminder that you're worth so much more than you think. And here's another thing, girl, there's always someone out there who would give anything to have what you have. I know we often feel like what we've got isn't enough or like the grass is greener on the other side. But the truth is, there are people who look at your life and wish they were in your shoes. Sometimes we're so focused on what's missing that we don't see the richness already around us. You've got amazing qualities, things that nobody else has, and all of that adds to the value you bring to the world. So instead of spending your time comparing, spend more of it taking care of yourself and realizing how much good you've already got. Your value isn't in being like anyone else, it's in being the best version of yourself. And look, if there's one thing I want you to take from this video, it's that you're not alone. Feeling envy doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you human, and it shows that you want big things out of life. What's really going to make the difference is what you choose to do with that feeling. You can use it as a little push to grow, to know yourself better, and to truly value who you are. So next time that comparison hits or that urge to have what someone else has comes up, take a deep breath, look at your own life with more love, and remember that your timing is yours alone. You're not late for anything. That's it, I love you.